Yo, everybody. Welcome to the first installment. We are live for the There's a First Time for Everything podcast. This is an idea I had a long time ago. I was actually going to write a book, and each chapter was going to be the story of my first time doing something. And the first two, I wrote my first fight, my first kiss, and I kind of ran out of gas after that. So it became this kind of idea that stuck in my head, and I decided that this would be a good time to bring on a bunch of my friends, a bunch of comics, and we are going to talk about first time stories, just across, run the gamut. We've all got weird stories about dates, losing our virginity, you name it. Like, we'll get into that stuff. So today, my very first guest, the first time that I met this man, I was emceeing just by chance at the Des Moines Funny Bone. And of course, every headliner that tells you you're funny is the coolest guy in the world afterwards. So Tony said I was funny. And then later on, actually started taking me on the road, and we hung out a lot together, became one of my best friends in this business. So please come on in, Tone. This is Tony Rock, everybody. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, everybody? I didn't know I was the first guest on the first show.
This is it, man. I'm gonna do the audio like weekly. I'll release them kind of weekly after I get a bunch in the can. But
right,
we're gonna do just I'm trying to do a whole bunch of them just like this, and we'll stream the video live, and then I'll do all that audio bullshit later.
Okay, sweet. Well, thanks for having me on the first episode. I would have wore a shirt had I known.
I already knew you would have your pre-show shirt on anyway, because I knew you'd be talking to me from the house or something,
Yes, sir. I literally just put the baby down.
Oh yeah. Speaking of first time,
I'll keep him until like 5 minutes before I have to go on, and then I'll put him down.
Nice. Yeah. Speaking of first time, so you are a first time father right now. You just had a baby.
It's amazing. My son Charleston was born May 2nd. It's been amazing. Every guy that's a parent that was telling me how incredible it's going to be and all of the emotions I'm going to feel was absolutely right.
Yeah. We talked about this the other night. As scary as the pandemic has been and all the weirdness with that, in a strange way, it's like the perfect time to have a baby.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly for me because like I told you, I would not have had this much time to spend and bond and really, he looks up, sees my face, and starts going crazy, smiles. I wake up in the morning, he's already up smiling and looking at me, and we wouldn't have had that time. Like I would have probably worked even harder now because the baby's here.
Yeah.
To have this time off has been priceless.
And you would have been more like a stranger coming home too. You
Like I just keep walking in every 4 days. I walk in the house like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, mom's in charge of everything.
Exactly.
And you lose your entire personality.
Absolutely.
So, besides that, how you been occupying your time since?
I've been writing. What I actually did was I had a few ideas for some projects that I wanted to work on, and since I had the time, I finished the script. It's actually in circulation right now. A couple of agents read it. I got some positive feedback. A casting director read it. She said she liked it. It's a remake of another movie that came out about 20 years ago. So, we just changed it around and made it a little hipper, a little funnier, and it's getting some positive feedback. So I'm hoping once we start getting momentum towards some type of normal lifestyle, that I can get more traction with it.
Yeah,
I did that. I wrote a few treatments for like game shows and just stuff I could shoot 10 episodes in a day and be done with it and then go back on the road. So just trying to capitalize on the downtime to create some stuff for me going behind the scenes.
What about what's the climate out there right now as far as like voiceover stuff?
Voiceover stuff is I got a few auditions, a few people reached out to see if there was any interest on me doing it. I don't think I have a voiceover voice. I don't know what character this voice would fit. So I don't know.
Probably somebody that looks like Tony Rock.
Probably.
So, since you had this baby, did you, like me personally, when my son was born, I was also 23, 24 years old when my son was born. And I always envy my friends that are having kids later in life because I feel like they're so much better equipped to be fathers and more likely to kind of smell the roses along the way and stuff. Because one of my biggest regrets is most of my memories of my son being little are very vague and broad and just, I don't have a lot of real specific things, like
you were 24. You were still trying to figure out who you were.
Exactly. And granted, he had a more energetic dad. I mean, I was a toy. I was the neighborhood toy for a while, but I wasn't equipped emotionally, I don't think. Do you feel like you're in a good place in that way?
I do. You know why? Because I have arrested development, so I'm still a kid at heart. And now I get to really play around. I get to roll on the floor and jump around and do stupid dances, but I still have the wisdom of the old man, of the older man. So I'm already setting things in motion for his college funds and his trust fund and money aside for his piano lessons and I'm looking at schools and I'm getting literature from different schools to read up on what their curriculum is. And I wouldn't have done that at 24. I would have just said, hey, he's going here because it's a 5-minute walk.
Right. And you'd have been making sure.
And I wouldn't have had the money. I wouldn't have had the money to be this conscious of what he's going to do and where he's going to go.
Yeah, that was me. I mean, I was pinching pennies all the time. Still am, because that's just how it goes. But
you know what? From what I learned from talking to some of my friends with children, your kids, like you're saying that, but your child just remembers the time. The time. The time is the most valuable to a kid. They don't care. Kids don't care if their parents are rich. They don't even know their parents are rich. They just know this is where I live. But they just care about the time, the time that you put in with them.
Well, and see, like my son's 18 now, and now he's a professional wrestler. So
wait, is he like WWE?
Well, not on that level. He's on the wrestling level of basically that I am in comedy. Like he's in the independent local circuits. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But he's just starting. It's I'm obviously
that's actually very cool, man. I guess,
dude. I couldn't see it. I mean, I knew it's what he wanted to do. It's what he always talked about, and I was screwed. He's watched his dad do stand up for a living his whole life, so I can't tell him it's unrealistic. So I supported it and I let him go, and he's just I couldn't see it. I never thought of him as a tough kid. He's small, I just didn't see it. And I went to his first match and it was unbelievable. Like we were balling afterwards and it was awesome. And so he just kept it going.
You're such a great comic. I'm sure you know that's a bit right there with like my son told me he wanted to be a wrestler and I'm like, dude, it's not realistic. Like, what are you doing? People don't live their lives like that, going from city to city to entertain people. and he just goes, but Dad, you're a comic. That's what you do. And you're like, you know what? Touche, kid.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm telling you not to do it. You're either going to get rich or it's going to ruin every relationship in your life. So let's get into this first time thing. You got anything?
I got. So we were talking earlier. They don't know what we were talking about earlier before we started officially recording.
I know.
But you said it could be anything. Your first date, your first kiss, whatever. So yeah. I'll combine two stories. I'll tell you my first kiss first. It's a short story, and then I'll tell you my first date in Los Angeles.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So my first kiss is a short, funny story. I was in my first real kiss. I had kissed girls before, but I was a baby or I was a juvenile. Didn't know what I was doing.
Your first with the tongue and the
my first I'm trying to get with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I remember in junior high.
Yes.
Like in like my first kiss was 7th grade, right? Uh-huh. And back then you talked about, I don't know if it was like this for you, but for me back then you talked about kissing like you talked about sex.
Exactly.
Like, it was like, did you French her yet?
Or you
Instead of, like,
talked about
nobody
you
said
talked about you talked about dry humping like you talked about sex.
yeah. Yeah, and then maybe ninth grade or so, you're like, so did you finger banger? Or
And there was always that one kid that was fat, that was like more advanced than you, that would always be like, "Oh man, I've been finger banging since the 8th grade." You're like,
yeah,
"Damn, man, this
I
dude's
got
a man." Like,
I got 3 in this bitch
where's that guy
yesterday.
at now? But look, so my first kiss, junior high school, right? I will leave out last names because I don't want to get sued. But the young lady's name was Lena, and she had a class with one of my homegirls, one of my female friends that lived like half a block away from me. And she would always tell me, like, Lena really likes you. And I'm like, I don't. And Lena, preface this, Lena was the hot chick in the school. She was the girl that everybody wanted. And my friend that lived a block away was like, Lena really likes you. And I'm thinking, there's no way she likes me. Like, she has her pick of the litter. And she's like, I'm telling you, she finds you attractive. So we start talking. And my friend Daryl was the junior high school playboy. He was the smooth dude. He was the dude in 7th grade that came to school in the morning, like, "Good morning, sweetheart. How you doing, beautiful? You look lovely today." And I was like, damn, this dude is advanced, like, So I start talking to Lena, and he's talking to one of Lena's friends. Like, he didn't even like her friend. He just figured, okay, you got her, I'll take the friend, because he already had that wherewithal of, like, the wingman, and he had that wherewithal that the other girl's gonna want to hook up with somebody. So it'll be easy. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even think of that. So we get out of school. They would let us out for lunch, and we get out of school for lunch, and we go to my friend Daryl. He lived like a block away from the school. We go to his house. Me, him, Lena, and the other young lady. I can't remember her name. And she had been saying, like, she wasn't going to do anything with me unless I was her boyfriend, and I couldn't touch her unless I was her boyfriend. And my friend Daryl just goes, "Well, tell her you'll be her boyfriend. Like, who cares?"
Right? Yeah, who gives a shit?
And I'm like, you could do that? He's like, "Yeah, just tell her whatever. Like, just say yeah." And I'm like,
had a
okay.
conscience.
I had no idea. I'm like, okay, I'll be your boyfriend, okay. And she's like, all right, so we boyfriend and girlfriend now. And then she tells her girl's all happy. And we're leaving his house to go back to school because it's like time to go back. And he says, "Did you make it official?" And I say, "Yeah." I'm thinking, like, we agreed on it. That's official. And he says, "Did you make it official?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "What'd you do?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "Yeah." So it's official. He said, "No, did you kiss her to make it official?" I said, "No." And he goes back and like, "Hey, you didn't even kiss her to make it official." And she goes, "Oh, okay." And she pulls me into a staircase, and we kiss for the first time. Now we're in the projects in a pissy, smelly project stairway, kissing for the first time. And I'm thinking, oh, this is amazing. I'm smelling piss, and like, it's like rodents. And I'm just like, oh, this is incredible.
And then all of a sudden, you're rich, dude, motherfucker.
So and then we go back to school, and like the whole school finds out like that we're a couple. And then like a couple weeks later, some guy shows up at my school, and he's like, "Hey, that's my girlfriend." He came to the school to beat me up. He's like, "It's his girlfriend."
So what happened? Did you fight him?
No, it was like this is junior high. I was like 7th grade. 7th grade is what, 14, 13, 14?
12 or 13. Yeah.
Okay, so this guy was about 18 years old. He came to the school like,
got a mustache.
"Hey, that's my girlfriend. That's my girlfriend, motherfucker." Like, got out of a car, and I was like, "Hey." And he was like, "I don't want to hear that you talking to her no more." And I was like, "You got it, bro.
You got it. We're good."
I was like, "Hey, I got a kiss in a pissy staircase. I'm good."
Yeah, I'm good. So the kiss, what did that feel like?
She was far more advanced than me, so she did all the heavy lifting. I was just holding her with my mouth open, pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of how mine went. Like, this chick attacked my mouth. Like when it was over, my chin was shiny.
It was like that. It was moist all around here.
Yeah, and it took me maybe a year to kiss another girl because of that. Like,
wow, really?
I was grossed out by it. I was like, this is what everybody's been talking about. Like, this is so great. Like, they're just bragging about this because they're supposed to. This is fucking gross. Like, And then I figured out later on, obviously, that she just didn't know what she was doing. But
no, she knew it. The girl I kissed knew what she was doing. She was very talented.
yeah, well, maybe it was my fault. Then maybe my mouth wasn't open enough.
The 18-year-old boyfriend,
right? Dude, at least he didn't ask you how his dick tasted. That would have been.
Oh my God,
that would have been a weird confrontation in 7th grade.
It would have stunted my growth sexually. I can't. Have you sucked a dick yet? Like,
I'll never do this again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
All right, you want my first date in LA?
Yeah, first date in LA.
All right, this is a good one. So I come out to LA for pilot season. You're familiar with pilot season?
Oh yeah.
All right, so I come out for pilot season. I'm auditioning for TV shows. I don't get anything. I go on, take a few meetings with the networks. Nothing really happens. And then a friend of another comics. She was a casting director for MTV.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "You know what? You think you'd want to go out for this this TV show that they're casting? It's like it was like MTV's version of the Gong Show."
Okay.
So it was like whatever you could come on the show, whatever your talent was, sing, rap, dance, juggle, whatever you do, whatever the talent you wanted to showcase, you come on. There's 3 judges, and there's a meter, like a boo meter, as it goes up. So whatever, if it reaches a certain level, you get taken off the stage. But it could be slime dropping from the ceiling. It could be a big hook to pull you off. It could be it was very many ways to get you off the stage. And I was the host, and I actually got the gig. I auditioned for it and got it.
Nice.
So MTV is putting me up at the Standard Hotel on Sunset Boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
They asked me if I have a car to get to and from the set every day for rehearsals. I say no. They rent me a Mustang convertible.
Beautiful.
So I got a black Mustang convertible. I'm staying at a fancy Sunset Strip hotel. The world's mine. I'm like, what's better than this?
Right.
So I'm at rehearsal the first day, and they have people in the audience, and it's this pretty black girl, brown skin, like chocolate bar brown, smooth skin. And she says, like we're in between takes, and she's sitting in the audience, and she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Yeah, come in." And she's like, "Can I come on stage?" I said, "Yeah, come on. We're not taping right now." So she walks on stage, and we just start talking, and where you from, and how'd you get the gig, and just business stuff, like industry stuff. Like I'm like my friend, friend's homegirl was casting director. She thought I would be good. I auditioned 3 or 4 times. They hired me, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's amazing." So, where you from? Like Brooklyn, New York, and you live here? No, I'm just out here for this. I'm gonna go home after this is over. We exchanged numbers. I'm in the hotel that night, and she says, when do you have some free time? And I'm like, well, Thursday I'll be off. I don't work Thursday. Let's do something. She's like, all right, you want to go to lunch? I said, yeah, let's go to lunch. And she calls me and says, where was I? I think I was at the Laugh Factory. I was at the Laugh Factory, and she's like, hey, you want to get together around 9 o'clock? We'll go to dinner. We'll go 9 o'clock to a restaurant. I'll take you to this nice restaurant. Okay, cool. She says, I'll take you to this nice restaurant. I drive back to the hotel to change my shirt. You know how I do. I drive back to the hotel to change my shirt. I pull up in the valet. I'm not being racial, but the valet was a Mexican guy, young Mexican guy. I said, hey, man, I'm just running upstairs to change my shirt and coming back down. Do I need to get the ticket and park it and everything, or can I just leave it right here? He said, just leave it right here, bro. You good? He said, no, I'll park it over there, but you don't need a ticket. Just go up and come right back down. I go upstairs, literally. I run in the room. I might have ran a hot iron over the shirt. I might have been upstairs for maybe 9 minutes, right? I come back down. The car's not parked where he said it would be, and the guy's not there.
Oh, my God.
So there's another valet guy. And I'm like, hey, where'd the guy go that was just here? He's like, oh, he's off. He just got off. And I'm like, well, he said he was going to put my car here, and I didn't need a ticket. And the other guy goes, oh, man, without a ticket, bro, I can't help you. And I'm like, wait. I literally just ran upstairs to get a shirt and come back down. He told me it was cool. He's like, I don't know what guy you're talking about. I don't know. He says, go in the garage, go downstairs in the garage and see if you can find your car. I go look around the garage. I see a bunch of, it's Hollywood. I see a bunch of convertible Mustangs, but none of them are mine. I called the cops immediately. Cops come. Like, what's going on? Hey, the guy said I didn't need a ticket. I ran upstairs to change his shirt. He said, we'll put it right here. Now he's gone and the car's gone. And the cops like, yeah, this happens all the time. People, so many of the same cars. Valet might have gave your car to somebody else. They'll drive it a few blocks and then realize it's not the car and bring it back. So I sit there waiting. Now the girl's calling me. Are you ready? And I'm like, hey, I got a little situation with the car. I'll call you in a little bit. Just give me like an hour. She's like, okay, cool. So the car never shows back up. The cops are like, hey, here's the number to call. If anything happens, call us back. So I don't have the car, but there's nothing I can do. So I'm like, all right, let me go meet this chick. I go meet her, and she says, so what kind of food you like? And I'm like, Italian, Mexican, soul food, You like Thai food? And I said, I never had it. You want to go to a Thai restaurant? I'm like, not particularly. and she goes, well, I mean, it's my favorite spot, so you should just come with me. And I'm like, I'm thinking she's taking me to lunch. So, all right, cool. And we go to the Thai spot, and she orders, as soon as we sit down, she's like, my favorite, let me have the noodle dish and the dumplings and this. And I'm just like, looking at the menu like, you got
no idea.
Chicken, you got chicken and something like, and she's just going to town, chopsticks, eating, loving life. The bill comes, and she says, oh my God, thank you so much for lunch. Thank you so much.
Oh.
And I'm like, holy shit. Am I paying for this shit? I didn't even eat anything. So I immediately say like, okay, I'm probably never going to call this girl again or date her. This is not going to happen. And I pay the bill, and she takes the food to go, and the food I didn't eat, she's like, take it. I'll take it with me. Get it. I'll take it with me. So she takes my food, the food she didn't eat to go, and she just breaks out. And now I get back to the hotel, and since I had called the cops, Hertz Rental Car had got involved because that was the number to call. Like, Hertz Rental Car says that I'm responsible for the car because.
Oh my fucking God!
Yeah,
you didn't get the extra insurance.
I didn't get a ticket. I didn't. I was callous in what I did.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, first of all, get the fuck out of here. I pulled up. They pulled a camera. The security cameras. They'll see what happened. And that shit, like for months, I got letters from Hertz Rental Car saying I was responsible for the car. I had to pay for it. And maybe like 6 months later, I get a letter from Hertz saying that they found the car, and I'm, absolved of all any responsibility and anything like that. So I called the number just because I wanted information. I'm like, what? So what happened?
What happened? Yeah.
They said that what they assumed happened was when the guy told me I didn't need a ticket, he took the car and parked it like 2 blocks away or a block away. Probably called one of his friends and said, hey, come and get the car.
Yeah.
It's sitting there where it's parked, the keys are in it, just take it.
Yeah.
And they said they found it completely stripped. And I said, well, why do you think that happened? And they said, because that's what happens when people don't get a ticket and like just carelessly leave their cars somewhere in LA. That's the LA thing. They steal the cars and just have them take it.
Because that's what happens.
Fast forward years later, the girl that went on the date, I never took her out again, never called her, whatever. Fast forward, I'm at a comedy club one night, and she comes walking in. I'm like, oh shit, I know this chick. This is the chick that took me to the Thai restaurant and made me pay for her dinner and her lunch and dinner. And she sees me and she's like, how you been? I'm like, I'm good. Everything's good. Now by this time I'm on TV and I did a few movies, so she knows who the fuck I am now. And she's like, are you sticking around? And I said, yeah. Why? Because I'm going up.
Oh fuck.
And she goes on stage to do stand-up. And I'm like, okay, I gotta see this. And I stick around, and she fucking eats it.
Good. Thank
she
God.
She fucking bombs. And then when she sees me, she comes up stage like, that was bad. I know. And then she says, hey, we should get together and write sometimes.
No.
And I said, this is LA for you. This is LA. I gotta pay for your dinner. I lose my damn car. Now you want me to write your material. Yeah.
Was she?
That was an LA date for you.
She must have been very attractive.
She was pretty attractive, yes.
Just like we talked about earlier, hot white girls, dude.
The world is theirs.
I'm done. I'm done with hot white girls forever.
You'll be back. Look, you'll be back. The hot white girl petting the cat right now, like he'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's sitting there going, "Oh, I'm gonna break your little fucking heart, motherfucker." That's what she's doing. We got man. So after all that, what like did you just decide at that point? Well, I guess you weren't living in LA yet. Once you moved to LA,
Yeah, I didn't
what
move
was
to
dating
LA
like
until
then?
I didn't move to LA until the sitcom I auditioned for got picked up, and I had to move to LA. The crazy thing is, I never really envisioned myself living in Los Angeles. I'm such a New Yorker. I thought I would just I thought I would move to a nicer part of New York and just live there forever. But then the show got picked up and I had to come out here. Then I came out and was like, shit started going good. I started going on the road and was like, oh, I'm here now. Like, but I still think about, to this day, I still think about moving back, but things are just in motion. So.
Well, and there's a lot of people are leaving California right now too.
Right.
So,
but then I think about that, and then I think about, since I had the baby, I want my baby to be closer to my brothers. I want my brother Brian, particularly, to have a relationship with my son. That was always a goal of mine. When I was a kid, it was like, if I have a kid, I want my kid to have a strong relationship with his Uncle Brian.
nice. And that's back in New York.
Yeah,
Brian's in New York. Is he in Brooklyn still?
No, he's actually downtown Brooklyn.
Because your family's so big. I mean, are they kind of all over the map? Or
South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Brooklyn, LA. Yeah, we're all over.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
7 boys, 2 girls.
Yeah, that's right. So you got 9.
Yeah. Well,
9.
I would be the 10th.
Right, but you got
brothers,
9 siblings.
7 brothers, 2 sisters.
And so when you guys, how often are you all in the same place at the same time? Can that happen on a yearly basis even for you guys?
No. It hasn't happened in years. My baby sister was actually getting married in March, and then the COVID hit. So she pushed it to November, but COVID hasn't eased up yet. So she just scaled it down, and now they're just going to do it with a few of her friends and a few of his friends, and then we'll do the reception later on when we can all be together. So that was going to be for 2020. That was going to be the first time we were all together.
Wow.
So that's not going to happen. Last time we were all together, unfortunately, the last time you see all of us together, usually it's
probably a funeral. Yeah.
Or a wedding.
Never Christmas? You guys have never just had a big ass rock family Christmas?
Yeah, but not in a long time. Since everybody started like branching, like my brothers are having their children now, they have Christmas with their families, and
right.
My sister's with her boyfriend, so it's like they do Christmas with his family, and so as you get older, it's like you become more. It's more about your own family instead of your.
Yeah. Well, and also as you get older, you have to have family reunions because everything gets so huge.
Right.
Especially if you have a decent sized family like right now. I've got.
Yeah, I would love a nice rock Thanksgiving like the good old days, because it was like those are the best, man. The food was incredible. The camaraderie, the football games, all that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, there was always like something magical about it.
Yeah,
it seemed like you kind of lose that over time.
Everybody talks about how much they love their families. If you love them so much, why do you only have dinner with them once a year on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, exactly. And now now it's like, how come you only Zoom with them once a week if you love them so much?
Yeah, now I'm more Zooming because of the baby. Everybody wants to see the baby.
Oh yeah, for sure. And how you said he was born when? March?
May 2nd.
May 2nd. So he is May, June, July, August.
So he's 5 months. He'll be 6 shortly. He'll be 6 months in a couple of days. Yeah,
it's amazing the amount they change in such a short period of time.
Man, look, dude, he came home. He was scrawny and looked funny, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, what's this kid gonna look like? And now he's the most beautiful thing you ever seen in your life.
Yeah, Phil. Yeah, that first. I always laugh at that first hospital picture. Everybody always where the baby's just.
I said he looked like a tadpole.
I know it looks like an alien or something. It doesn't look human. Everyone's like, "Oh, look how beautiful this baby is!" Like,
and he didn't have color. He didn't start getting color until later. I'm like, "Oh, this kid's a little pale here. What's going on?"
Oh yeah, you were probably prepared for that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't imagine like somebody going in like not really knowing, be like, bitch.
No, I do. I knew from my siblings. I remember when my baby sister and my baby brother were born. It was like, wait a minute, and they get darker as it goes.
Do you feel like how are you feeling right now with the climate of everything? Are you paying real close attention? Are you anticipating the type of conversations you're going to have with your son as he gets older?
Absolutely.
Are you even I mean, how do you think you're going to approach that, or do you already know?
I don't know. I have a friend that said that his son is 10, and he said that he wanted his kid to just be a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then when something happens that his kid has to say to him, like, what's going on here? Then he'll explain, the issues with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't think that's fair to the kid.
Might be too shocking.
To not have him at least somewhat prepared for what the horrors of the world,
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think I want to do it that way, but I don't want to sit him down and make him watch Roots on his first birthday either.
Yeah, on a loop.
Yeah. I don't want to play old Farrakhan speeches on his first birthday. Right. but I do want him to understand. And here's the thing: my son's his mother is her father's African and her mother is German, so she's biracial.
Okay.
So his grandmother looks like his grandfather looks like you.
Right.
So
does he look better or worse than me?
He's you handsome, man. He's gonna grow up thinking, that's grandma, that's
right.
grandpa.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna have that. Oh, everybody in my family is a certain color. He's not gonna have that out the gate. So I think that'll help him in regards of, people are just people.
Mm-hmm.
And what I hope is that, what I really hope is that he judges everyone based on his interaction with that person.
Yeah, just individually.
Don't have a bad interaction with a black person and think all black people are this. Don't have a bad interaction with a white person and think all white people. It's like, no, that guy's an asshole.
Right.
That guy's not the whole. It's not. They're not bringing everybody down. They don't represent everybody. They don't speak for everybody. That particular person of this entire race happens to be a jerk.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know how I want to approach it, but I know that the talk is coming.
I just know, like, nothing can be legislated. And I think that's the biggest mistake people make is they want this like instant answer. They want everything to be better tomorrow. And really all you can do is make your kids better than you were and you be better than your parents were. And,
right. That's
and
that's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you can do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anything else you want fixed quick is not going to happen. But tomorrow you can teach your kids better so that the day after that, they're better. And the day after that, they're better. And the people they interact with are better. And then it spreads.
Yeah. Because
that can be done. That can be done today.
You can't legislate social change. That's why it's social.
Right.
So like it just becomes a home by home, family by family thing. And I think what happens is people make the mistake of going, well, everything's fine in my world, so this is all bullshit.
That's the problem. People think because the issues don't affect them particularly, it's not their problem.
Yep. And then when people like LeBron James address it, they're like, well, what do you know? You're a millionaire and you play basketball and blah, blah, blah. Well, just because it doesn't affect him as much as it does other people doesn't mean he shouldn't care about it.
That's how most problems get out of control in this country. Like, look at drugs wasn't a big deal when it was only affecting the black community. Then everybody started getting hooked. It was like, oh shit, now we got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's like COVID was like that. COVID was like, okay, it's not here. We heard about it. It's not here. So, but we should be the human race. So when something affects a human, it affects a human. It affects humanity.
It doesn't become an epidemic until it affects people with money.
Right.
Once people with a little bit of money start getting affected by it, all of a sudden it's an epidemic.
Right.
That's why the prescription drug epidemic, that came out of nowhere. That wasn't gradual. And that's because prescription drugs were abused by people with money.
Right. Right. You're right.
All
It's
of a
not.
sudden it
It's not a
became this big
homeless.
problem.
It's not a homeless problem until that guy walks out of his fucking penthouse apartment and a homeless guy asks him for money on the way to his fucking luxury vehicle. Then it's like, oh, this is getting out of hand. But when they
Yep.
was 2 blocks away around the corner and you didn't see him, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't care, whatever. But then getting out of hand means what? You know what? Like they want to go burn down Tent City. That's what their solution is. Like, what are you supposed to do? You know, I don't know. There's just I think
Humanity. We got to get back to humanity.
yeah, just empathy in general. I mean, and I don't know. I think the way that we label things is irresponsible, and I think that we I think we overdiagnose a lot and underdiagnose a lot. There's just there doesn't seem to be happy mediums anywhere at all.
Yeah, right.
Like in any form. I mean, you look at the presidential races, it's always, you know, this guy's we're all gonna die if you vote for this guy. And they say that back and forth. And if you look back to the 80s, it was the same shit. They were saying the same shit, and then nothing changes.
Pretty much.
The stakes are always too high this year.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes.
Mm-hmm. So moving forward, what do you got, you know, out in front of you right now? You know, I know you said you had scripts in circulation. Are you getting back on the road at all?
Yeah, I got a gig. I went out last week for the first time since March, which was weird as fuck, man.
Yeah, I had that. That was me
trying
too.
to get the beats back. Like, oh, like in the middle of a joke. Like, wait a minute, I forgot a piece of this joke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was fun and it was scary. It was like fun and kind of weird at the same time. But yeah, I go back out November 12th. I'm in Jersey, and I just booked a play. That's gonna shoot.
Gonna shoot? You're gonna shoot a play?
Yeah, no, it's one of those. It's like I say it's a play, but it's like one set. It's
okay.
I guess it's gonna
kind of
shoot.
like that thing Louis C.K. did, the that was in the bar or whatever.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Pete's, whatever Pete's or whatever that was.
So I guess it's a movie that's set in one setting, or a play that's shot in one set. So I literally just got that like yesterday, like 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And, we start that November 7th. So I got a few days on that, and then I go to Jersey and do that gig, and then I'm back here and just writing and trying to stay safe and bomb.
Can you talk about the play at all? Can you explain what it is at all?
Yeah, I'm a guy that dates. I'm a player that meets a girl. I'm not the lead character. The lead character are my parents. The lead characters are the parents of my character.
Okay.
And they're going through something. Their marriage is, you know, they're 30 plus years into their marriage, and they start questioning going forward. And then their son's a player that they don't see getting married and settling down, and he meets this girl, and she's bipolar, and he has a child out of wedlock. So the mother's like, I don't want the girl around your child if she's bipolar. And somewhere in there, there's some comedy. Somewhere in there, I get to say something funny. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, and then you leave the room. Every time you say something funny, you leave the room. That's usually how the plays go, right? Yeah. There's the one smart ass.
And another thing.
Yeah. The little canned laughter. That's great, man. Well,
yeah, trying to stay busy under the circumstances.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I had my first time on set. I hadn't been on stage since March as well, and a couple of weeks ago I had my first gig, and my nerves were about remembering shit, like not about performing itself. I'm sure you probably kind of felt the same way.
You know what's crazy? I was getting on stage. I wasn't nervous at all, and then what I realized is after I got up there and started just figuring it out and remembering, I was like, you know what? I can do this pretty much with my eyes closed. Like I could do this at any time.
Yeah.
I might not remember the jokes, but like being up here, I can figure comedy out from up here.
Yeah, and that's 100% the same reaction I had. Like I I was worried about like remembering stuff going up there. I mean, I wasn't overly nervous or anything, but like I was just kind of, thinking about what I was going to do, because I knew I was going to stumble over stuff, because you don't forget your punchlines. You forget the little tags, you forget the little shit that was in there, and
then
the
you get up
audience
there,
isn't going to know the difference.
But then you get up there and you remember, wait a minute, I'm a performer. I'll just, that's what I do. Like, even if I forget the joke, it's like, I'll make that the joke.
Yeah, exactly. And like when it was weird because I watched my foot like hit the stage. I watched myself get on there, and like I swear to God, it sounds flaky, but like as soon as my foot hit the stage and I saw it, everything melted away and I felt completely at home.
No, that's only another comedian would understand what you just said. Like that happens all the time. Literally, my walk to the stage, people always ask me, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not nervous. It's nervous anticipation."
Yeah,
like, I'm ready to go. And when I'm walking, when they announce my name and I'm walking through the room to get to the stage, I'm pretty nervous because they're looking at me and I don't have the mic in my hand yet.
Yeah.
It's like I'm self-conscious, not nervous. I'm just like, wow. And people are like looking at me like, yo, go get him, man. Like looking dead at me like, yo, have a good one, bro. And I don't have the mic in my hand yet. So it's like, it's like Thor. I don't have the hammer in my hand yet.
Mm-hmm.
So then once I get to the mic and touch it, okay. Now.
Okay. Yeah, because when you're on stage, the audience is almost a faceless thing. It's just an audience. Like I always find myself, I always make it look like I'm looking at everybody, but I'm not. I'm really looking over the top of everybody, just kind of scanning. And on that walk, you're actually making contact, like face-to-face contact, and you ain't got nothing to say. So you're just, all right, yeah, thanks.
Look, and don't let it be a majority black crowd. You walk into the room and you hear shit like, "You better be funny, motherfucker."
Oh my God!
Damn, I don't have the mic and I'm getting heckled already.
Oh, something terrible. Especially if you're a white dude and it's an all black crowd.
You better be funny.
You better be funny.
You bet. It's like, who this white boy?
It was funny the first time.
Especially when we went out. When we went out, it's like, yo, I brought my man Bill Blank with me. It's like, he brought this dude? This is the dude you brought?
He's black friendly. When we would go out, like we'd go out to the bars or whatever together, and I remember walking in there with you all the time, thinking to myself, like, okay, do I need to act like his bodyguard or do I need to hold on to his arm the whole time? Like, which one? I'm not sure which one to do.
We do the show and then the show's over, and other comics would think if I brought you, I must have really been looking for somebody to bring. So they're like, "Hey man, if you ever need anybody, brother, I'm like, no, I meant to bring him. I didn't. Nobody called out. I meant to bring him."
That was always. I remember we were at a bar in Kansas City, and another white dude walked in, and I looked at you and was like, "Fuck's he doing here?" He's like, "You're taking no, man. I'm special right now." What's up? And he's all head to toe FUBU and shit. I'm like, "You're trying, bro. Get the fuck out of here." Yeah. Oh shit. Those are my favorite. Remember those after parties, man.
Man,
it's always my favorite to be on the road with you because there was always an after party, and there was just always something to watch. Just constantly, we'd be sitting there with the bottle service.
I remember one time we was in some club, and I got this girl's number, and you had I think you had went to the bathroom, and on the way back you passed the girl. And she ran to her friend like, "I got his number." And you came back like, "Dude, she's way too excited to have your phone number."
Yep. It's like, just make sure you didn't bring any money. My man's rich. You remember that shit?
What?
My man's rich.
Who said that?
The girl is trying to get you to buy her a car.
Oh, yes. She was mad at me. I didn't buy her an $80,000 car.
Yeah. I'll never forget because you were telling me about that, and then you were actually in Des Moines.
She said, "Hey, I want to." She said, "Hey, I had what happened was she lived in another state. I'm not gonna go deep into the story, but she lived in another state. So the rule was we would, fly back and forth to see each other. And I get there and she says, "Hey, let's go somewhere. I want to show you something." I'm thinking, I don't know what she'll show me, like a park. We're gonna go to the park or something to eat. So show me a new restaurant, something. Show me a new restaurant. I don't know. She takes me to a Tesla dealership and shows me the car. Like, look, this. I'm like, yeah, it's nice. It's cool. No, look at it. Look at this. You don't like this? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And the guy's like, you want to test drive? Like, she had already had the appointment set up. Yeah, test drive. Let's go. So she's driving. I'm like, all right, I'll just sit here. And then when we driving, I'm like, wow, I actually like this car. Like, because the electric cars never lose engine power. Like, so every time you hit the gas, it's like that shit goes. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know how like muscle cars over the course of time, that kick dies down a little bit. But electric cars it's a fresh charge every time you get in. So I was like, that's kind of impressive. And we get back to the dealership and she's like, can I get it? And I'm like, what? Can I get it? Can you get the car?
She was serious.
Man, she was serious. Like,
serious.
She was serious.
See, I just remember I remember that because you were in Des Moines right afterwards, and my parents came out to a show with some other people, and we went to the bar. We went to a bar afterwards, and you wouldn't let my dad buy any drinks. Like my dad was trying to go get drinks, and you're like, your money's no good here, and you were buying the drinks. And then I just looked at you, was like, my man's rich.
My man's rich. Yeah, man. She wanted me to buy her car, man. What are you gonna do?
Well, you didn't buy the car, so
I didn't buy the car.
Right decision.
And shortly thereafter, the relationship was over.
I can't imagine.
And then it's weird. It's weird how the whole world is connected. My publicist calls me maybe 2 months after that was over, and says, "Hey, my friend who works for this liquor company, he saw on your Instagram that you're dating so and so." And I'm like, well, not anymore. He goes, he asked me, did you have an issue with her? Did you ever have any issues with her and money? And I'm like, why does he ask? And he said, because, and then he told her, he's like, because when he dated her, she just spent all his money. And I remember her asking me, like, when I come to town one time, I was leaving to go back to New York, and I was like, can you just leave? Like, can you get an extra credit card for me? Can you get a credit card with my name on it? So I don't have to just wait until you get here to get stuff. I'm like, what?
No, that's marriage stuff right there.
Exactly. That's like Mr. and Mrs. on the credit card.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Well, Tone, I can't thank you enough for doing this with me today.
I
couldn't have thought of a better first guest. And you know how much I love you. I adore you. And I hope that we get together soon and get on the road again. And
absolutely, the feeling is mutual, my friend. And I have a million stories. So if you ever have somebody fall out and you just need somebody, I'm free. Just hit me. I'll tell. I got a million stories.
Oh well, I brought that dude on purpose. So if I ever need anybody, No, I will. Dude, I definitely want you back. We're gonna do. I'm gonna have, I'll have tons of comics. I'm gonna have people repeat for sure because that's why I wanted the first time for everything theme, because I know that's unlimited and we'll at least have a base no matter what. And so we'll do it again soon. But
hey, I remember we would do the shows. We do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or sometimes we do Friday,
sometimes Sunday, but usually Thursday through Saturday.
I just remember Sundays you would come in the green room fucking pissed, like fucking Iowa lost today. I'm like, dude, this dude takes that shit serious, boy.
Man,
they were up 10 points and fucking lost again. I'm like, we got a show to do, man.
Yeah, but I could let it go for showtime, and then I'm right back to being mad about it afterwards. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, it is what it is. We can't all switch our teams every other year like you do. So
come on, man. I just don't have a football team when it comes to college football. NFL, I'm Steelers for life, but college football, I just like whoever's
Are you
hot.
hanging on to Brooklyn? Are you staying with Miami?
No, I'm Brooklyn. I'm Brooklyn now.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
that's what I was, because I remember you being the Heat fan back in the day, and I'm like, come on, man.
I was a Laker fan my whole childhood because of
I'm
Magic
still a
Johnson,
Laker
my favorite
fan.
basketball player of all time.
Me too.
So I was a Laker fan. Then when Kobe shit on Shaq, I was like, you know what? I find it hard to root for that guy. So when Shaq went to Miami, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow the Diesel. It was like I went with the parent that went east.
Yeah.
And then he started getting traded around, and I was like, I can't really. And then once they said we're gonna have a basketball team in Brooklyn, it was like, okay, well there we go.
Yeah, that's easy.
I don't need to go anywhere else. Brooklyn's home.
You think they're gonna be good next year? You think everybody will be healthy?
I think they'll contend. I think they'll be just as good as the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right. Well, I don't know, man. Achilles ain't no joke.
No joke.
That's a
and
tough.
Kyrie's not playing a full season either. Kyrie never plays a full season, so he'll miss 20 games out of the year.
It's because he's a flat earther and he has to take 20 days to go try to prove his fucking point. But
yeah, we'll see what happens.
Right on, brother. Well, thank you again. It was great to see you. Great to catch up.
Always a pleasure, man.
I will let you know when I get all this audio stuff done and we get it out to the world so you can share it with your fans.
I will put it on my social media. Blow your whole show up.
There you go. Blow it up, baby.
All right.
All right. I love you, brother.
All right, Blake. Love you, man.
Peace.
Later.